In harmony with the rebirth of nature, the Iranian New Year celebration, or Nowruz, always begins on the first day of spring, when the cold of the winter turns to the warmth of the spring. The New Year festivities revolve around the theme of taking leave of the tired old and welcoming the energetic new. Nowruz starts at the exact moment of the vernal equinox called Sal-e Tawil, commencing the start of the spring. An equinox occurs around March 20th and 21st, when the tilt of the Earth's axis is inclined neither away from nor towards the Sun being vertically above the point on the equator. It is considered as the start of the new year among Iranians and more than 300 million people around the world. Today, the festival of Nowruz is celebrated in Iran, Iraq, India, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Other Asian republics of the former Soviet Union are joining the group, and the latest report says that Turkey too has decided to declare Nowruz a holiday. It is also celebrated as the new year by the people of the Iranian stock, particularly the Kurds. In the neighboring countries of Georgia, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. Nowruz ceremonies in all of these countries, among other activities, include dancing to folk music. Nowruz ceremonies are symbolic representations of two ancient concepts, the end and the rebirth, or the triumph of good over evil. According to the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, the national Iranian epic by Ferdowsi, Nowruz came into being during the reign of the mythical king Jamshid, when he defeated the evil demons or Devs, seizing their treasures, becoming master of everything but the heavens, and bringing prosperity to his people. To reach the heavens, Jamshid ordered a throne to be built with the jewels he had captured. He then sat on the throne and commanded the demons to lift him up into the sky. When the sun's rays hit the throne, the sky was illuminated with a multitude of colors. The people were amazed at their king's power, and they showered him with even more jewels and treasures. This day of great celebration was named Nowruz, and was recognized as the first day of the year. It is said that King Jamshid's rule, which lasted for several hundred of years, was a glorious one of prosperity and happiness. Nowruz did not end with Jamshid's passing, but rather was strengthened through the centuries to become an all-encompassing and glorious celebration of rebirth and renewal that it is today. The origins of Nowruz are unknown, but they go back several thousands of years predating the Achaemenian dynasty. The name of Nowruz does not occur until the 2nd century AD in any Persian records. We have reasons to believe that the celebration is much older than that date, and Nowruz has been celebrated for at least 3,000 years, and it is deeply rooted in the rituals and traditions of the Zoroastrian religion. Nowruz was surely celebrated by the people and royalty during the Achaemenid times, 555 to 330 BC. It has often been suggested that the famous Persepolis complex, or at least the Palace of Apadana and 100 Columns Hall, were built for the specific purpose of celebrating Nowruz. In 487 BC, Darius the Great of the Achaemenid dynasty, 700 to 330 BC, celebrated the Nowruz at his newly built Persepolis in Iran. A recent research shows that it was a very special occasion. On that day, the first rays of the rising sun fell on the observatory in the Great Hall of Audience at 6:30 a.m., an event that repeats itself once every 1400 years. It also happened to coincide with the Babylonian and Jewish New Years. It was, therefore, a highly auspicious occasion for the ancient peoples. The Persepolis was the place the Achaemenian king received, on Nowruz, his peoples from all over the vast empire. The walls of the great royal palace depict the scenes of the celebrations. After the accession of Ardashir-Pabakon, the founder of the Sasanian dynasty, in 224 AD, consistent data for the celebration of Nowruz were recorded. Throughout the Sasanian era, 224 to 650 AD, Nowruz was celebrated as the most prominent ritual during the year. Most royal traditions of Nowruz, such as yearly common audiences, cash gifts, and pardons of prisoners, were established during the Sasanian era, and they persisted unchanged until the modern times. Nowruz, along with Sadeh, that is celebrated in midwinter, were the two pre-Islamic celebrations that survived the Islamic society after 650 AD. Other celebrations, such as Maragon, were eventually sidelined or were only followed by the Zoroastrians, who carried them as far as India. Nowruz, however, was most honored even by the early founders of Islam. There are records of the 4 great caliphs presiding over Nowruz celebrations, and during the Abbasid era, it was adopted as the main royal holiday. Following the demise of the caliphate and re-emergence of Persian dynasties such as the Samanids and Buyids, Nowruz was elevated into an even more important event. The Buyids revived the ancient traditions of the Sasanian times and restored many smaller celebrations that had been eliminated by the Caliphate. Even the Turkish and Mongol invaders of Iran did not attempt to abolish Nowruz in favor of any other celebration. Thus, Nowruz remained as the main celebration of the Persian lands by both the officials and the people. Sadeh has been observed since the days when Zoroastrianism was the dominant religion in the powerful Persian Empire. According to religious beliefs, Jashneh-Sadeh recalls the importance of light, fire, and energy. Jashneh-Sadeh was celebrated by lighting fire. The festival known as Sadeh celebrates the discovery of fire and its ability to banish the cold and dark, and it is held in the frigid depths of winter. In Farsi language, Sad means 100. There are several different traditions as to when to celebrate Sadeh. In Yazd, the festival is on 100 days before Nowruz, the beginning of spring. This places the festival to be celebrated on December 11th. Yet others celebrate it on January 29th, which is 50 days and 50 nights before Nowruz. In the last Wednesday before Nowruz, called Char-Shambeh Suri, literally, the Eve of Red Wednesday, or the Eve of Celebration, bonfires are lit in public places, and people leap over the flames shouting, Sorkhie to Azman, Zardie man az to, which means, give me your beautiful red color and take back my sickly pelor. They jump over fire to symbolically acquire its life force and eat dried fruits and nuts to absorb energy. The New Year festivities revolve around the theme of taking leave of the tired old and welcoming the energetic new. They begin with Khune Takuni, spring cleaning. A few weeks before the New Year, Iranians clean and rearrange their homes to rid the house of last year's dirt and germs in preparation for a good New Year. They make new clothes or go shopping, bake pastries, and germinate seeds as sign of renewal. The traditional herald of the Nowruz season is called Haji Piruz or Haji Firuz. He symbolizes the rebirth of the Sumerian god of sacrifice, Dumuzi, who was killed at the end of each year and reborn at the beginning of the new year. Days before Nowruz, troubadours referred to as Haji Firuz disguise themselves with makeup, wear very colorful clothes, usually red, and always a hat that is sometimes long and cone-shaped. These Haji Firuz, singing and dancing, parade as a carnival through the streets, with trombones, kettle drums, and trumpets to spread good cheer and the news of the coming new year. On Nowruz, families dress in their new clothes and gather around a half-seen table. The table is covered with a white cloth symbolizing purity, and it is spread with 7 haft items beginning with the letter S, Sin, representing life and fertility, light and longevity, purity and prosperity. The items symbolically correspond to 7 creations and holy immortals protecting them. In the Sasanian period, when Iran was still a largely farming society, the displays included dairy products and grains. Over time, the items have acquired an agricultural tone and may include sabzeh, wheat, barley, or lentil sprouts growing in a dish, symbolizing rebirth. Samanu, a sweet pudding made from wheat germ, symbolizing affluence. Somak, sumac berries, symbolizing the color of sunrise. Sinjed, the dried fruit of the oleaster tree, symbolizing love. Sir, garlic, symbolizing medicine. Sib, apples, symbolizing beauty and health. Sirke, vinegar, symbolizing age and patience. Sometimes a missing scene is exchanged with another item starting with an S For example, Sunbal, the fragrant hyacinth flower symbolizing the coming of spring. Sikke, coin symbolizing prosperity and wealth. Other items commonly displayed are water with goldfish symbolizing life within life, and the sign of Pisces, which the sun is leaving. The mirror reflects the past while showing the future. The candles represent light, energy, and the giving of warmth to others. Painted eggs symbolizing fertility. A holy book, a book of poem, by Hafiz, Khayyam, or Rumi. Pastries are also commonly displayed. On the same table, many people place 7 special sweets because, according to a 3,000-year-old legend, King Jamshid discovered sugar on Nowruz. As the family awaits the moment of spring, they place a sweet in their mouth and a coin in their hand. At the moment of transition into the new year, or Soleil Tevil, they embrace each other and exchange gifts. Over the next 12 days, friends and family visit each other, take tea and sweets, and generally go about remembering and reinforcing their bonds. During the Nowruz holidays, people are expected to pay house visits to one another, mostly limited to families, friends, and neighbors. In the form of short house visits, and the other side will also pay you a visit during the holidays before the 13th day of spring. Typically, the younger visit the elders first, and the elders return their visit later. The visits naturally have to be relatively short, otherwise one will not be able to visit everybody on their list. The 13th day of the New Year festival is called Sizdah Bedar, meaning 13 outdoors. It often falls on or very close to April Fool's Day, as it is celebrated in some countries. People go out in the nature in groups and spend all day outdoors in the nature in form of family picnics. It is a day of festivity in the nature, where children play and music and dancing is abundant. On this day, people throw their sabzeh away in the nature or into running water as a symbolic act of making the nature greener, and to dispose of the bad luck that the sprouts are said to have been collecting from the household. It is also customary for young single women to tie the leaves of the sabzeh prior to discarding it, symbolizing their wish to be married before the next year's Sizdah Bedar.
عزیز بشوه کنارم میون سنگ مرمر ریشه بسته عزیز بشوه کنارم الهی بشکنه اون سنگ مرمرای عزیز بشوه کنارم که یار نازنین تنها نشسته عزیز بشوه کنارم عزیز بشوه کنارم ز عشقت بیقرارم جون تو طاقت ندارم حالا مرا از کنارم حالا مرا از کنارم به خدا دوستت می‌دارم به خدا دوستت می‌دارم عزیزم بهلولی
The 13th day celebrations, Sizdah Bedar, stem from the belief of the ancient Persians that the 12 constellations in the zodiac controlled the months of the year, and each ruled the earth for 1,000 years, at the end of which the sky and the earth collapsed in chaos. Hence Nowruz lasts 12 days, and the 13th day represents the time of chaos, when families put order aside and avoid the bad luck associated with the number 13 by going outdoors and having picnics and parties.